like 72 hours since we were live.
Right.
But I'm super excited to be back. I am your host, Fred Briley, and with me, as always, is my fabulous co-host, Lori Talamo. And this week, I think probably is one of the weeks we've been waiting for a very long time, probably since we started this podcast. We are super excited to have the host of the Disney Crush on our podcast. So, David, Tony, welcome to the podcast. We're super excited to have you guys.
It's great to be had.
Yeah,
thank you guys. I know Lori's been listening to you guys for a long time. She's been on a couple of your episodes. I've recently been listening to you guys, so it's definitely really good to have you guys on our show.
Well, we're happy to be here.
Good to be
I
here.
will say this is definitely the show that I've been waiting for. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it was just searching for Disney groups when I first, started as with the travel agency stuff. I don't even know how I came across the Disney Crush, but super excited that I did. I have loved Dave and Tony Ann ever since day one. They kind of remind me, of how Fred and I are, just, down to earth, real people. And I actually got to meet them finally. I don't know if that was last year or 2 years ago now. So definitely excited that we were able to get you guys on. So I appreciate you joining on my podcast this time.
Oh, thanks for
Great
having
to
us.
be
It's
here.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some fun questions for you. We're going to dive a little bit into, your love for Disney, all things Disney. So, of course, we've got some Disney-related questions for you. And we've also got some podcast questions, right? Because, one of the big things that, excuse me, one of the big things that I see, stepping into the podcast world recently is that, podcasting is a big thing. It's becoming more and more popular all the time. So we're really looking forward to kind of hearing your story and how you got started with the Disney Crush. We'll just dive into some questions. Lori, I think you're leading us off on these questions.
Yeah. So we know that you guys are big Disney fans. How did your love for Disney begin? And y'all can shoot for who wants to go first. Just where was the love of Disney? Where did it start?
Well, I'll let Tony go at first. It's, age before beauty.
Of course.
Wait a minute. You're my first trip to Walt Disney World was 1981. I was 9, and we stayed off property at a La Quinta on International Drive, probably. We planned it with maps where we're going to go. We went for 2 days to Magic Kingdom because it was the only park, and I fell in love with it. And I remember back then it was really big in the Adventureland area. They had these juice cups that were like shaped like the fruit, like, so the grape juice was in a bunch of grapes, and the orange juice was in an orange, and that was like the coolest thing when I was a kid. So, but that
Sounds yummy.
was the start of it.
Wow.
Fun.
And then as an adult, when I moved to Florida, and I'm a hospice nurse, I don't know if you know that, going to Disney a lot, I have to have a trip on the horizon to keep
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to keep sane.
Yeah.
Some happiness.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
Anytime you're sad, just go look at the app. And
That's right. Look. It's only a 20-minute wait.
Right.
Yeah.
He's always on that app.
I am always on that app.
Yeah. So, Dave?
Well, my story is I was born and raised in California, and I as a kid, you think you go to Disney, but I don't think I went to Disneyland until I was probably 11 or 12, I think. We kept begging my dad to go, and we could hear the fireworks and see them on a good night. We lived 20 minutes away. But we finally got him to take us, and I grew up, as a kid growing up, in the 60s and 70s. We had the Wonderful World of Color, then the Wonderful World of Disney, and just all kinds of things about Disney, and that was just normal. So didn't really, and then as an adult, I would go every now and then, and when I got into the family, Tony Ann and I would go. We'd meet Tony Ann. We'd probably go once or twice a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And then one year, my wife Veronica said, "I know what we're going to do for Christmas. And I'm like, okay, what? You know, I'm thinking there's going to be something, you know, like
Go
a
to
jet
Disney.
ski or a boat or something, you know. And she goes, we're getting the family a annual passes to Disney. And I went, what? No, that's a lot of money. No. So I went kicking and screaming, and we took like a week. I think we had like a week vacation there, and we took the kids. And after this, I think probably the second day, I don't know what it was. Something happened. I think it was just because we were all together, and it was a magical time, if you will. And I I absolutely fell in love with Disney, and we've been around it. Like I said, with Tony Ann, we'd go once or twice a year with her and the family. But I think that trip really sealed the deal for me. And I was at that point happy I didn't have a jet ski, happy I didn't have a boat, happy I had an annual pass, and it's been like that for the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now. So
Sweet. One day I'll have one too.
Goals.
Hopefully.
what a boat or a jet ski?
He's still waiting for that jet ski.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, because people you probably don't realize, Dave's wife and my husband are brother and sister. So that's our relationship. We're in-laws.
Yeah. I thought as Dave was talking, I was like, probably should have said how you guys know each other, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was curious. I figured we would have got there eventually.
Yeah. Dave's wife and
Yeah.
my husband are brother and sister.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool.
yep.
Okay, now for, I think, big question, right? Favorite park and why?
Dave
I know
Dave's.
Dave's.
Well, me and Lori, we like Animal Kingdom. So,
Of course.
Yeah.
and the reason I like it, I just like all of the. I mean, I love animals for one, and it's not a zoo, people. It's not a zoo.
Thank
And
you.
it's not Animal Kingdom hot. What everybody says, it's not. Um, I think maybe because it doesn't feel like and I don't, if it doesn't really feel like a Disney property.
Yeah.
I don't get that vibe there at all. Honestly, I mean, there is Disney there, of course, but you don't feel like you're in Disney. You feel like you're in a tropical forest somewhere, and I don't know, just everything about it. And we were just there recently for a Moonlight Magic, and it's been a long time since I'd been at night. And Tony Ann and I both love it there at night. And I'm sure Lori does too. But
hmm
we got to be there at night, and it's just, I think it's one of that and Hollywood Studios. I just love at night, but
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom, I just adore it at night. So
That was my very first trip to Disney, which my wife, then girlfriend, took me. She was super excited to stay at Animal Kingdom like after dark, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then I experienced it, especially like Avatar area, the bioluminescence. Like, it's just, Animal Kingdom is just a gorgeous, like, non-theme park vibe in itself.
yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
a great park.
And now with Galaxy's Edge and
Yeah.
Toy Story Land, it's just I mean, everything that's happened in these parks along the way, like at Hollywood Studios at night, those parks at night are great. I mean, they're all great at night, but yeah, Animal Kingdom just has a special part. With the Tree of Life, the tree is just amazing. So
Yep.
I think we lost Tony Ann.
I lost Tony.
She was bored with us, guys. I think she.
That's
said,
fine.
Okay,
She's
I'm
gonna
out of
have-
here.
This is a boring
No,
podcast.
Michael came in the room.
Well, I was going to tell you if he comes in the room, feel free. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I love Michael Minute on the Disney Crush show. It's okay.
He's not really presentable right now.
Oh, I got you. Oh, and you're on camera, so I get
He's
it.
half dressed.
She does that quite often when we record. When I start talking, she just checks out, and then she comes
Yeah,
back.
I just check out. Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Tony.
All right. So, what's your favorite?
Oh, my
park?
favorite park. My favorite changes. I think right now it's Epcot. I love Guardians. I love Cosmic Rewind.
all day.
I love all the different food in all the different countries and the different drinks. So I think right now I'd say Epcot. I'm excited about the changes that are coming to the other parks, and we'll see. Magic Kingdom. I mean, this is kind of like blasphemy, but it's probably the park that if I have to cut a park from a trip, I'll cut Magic Kingdom. It sounds terrible, I know, but we do a lot of adult trips, and for us,
Yeah.
that
You can-
Epcot's where it's at.
Magic Kingdom only has, like, especially as like an adult, like, it's good to do a couple times. And there's like those, those like 2 or 3 rides that you're like, we gotta do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm good now. Like
hmm
we can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's go to Epcot so I can drink and eat all the food.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see skipping Magic Kingdom sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then let's move on to what is your favorite Disney resort?
Well, for me, there's an airboat behind my house. I'm sorry. For me, favorite Disney resort, I would say probably Coronado. Oh my gosh, there's a really loud car up my side window.
Oh, we can't hear it.
No.
I can't.
Coronado. And the tower, Grandestino Tower, just because of the price point for what you're getting. It's a beautiful resort. There's 5 restaurants at that resort. Three Bridges is open until midnight. So after you leave a park at 9 or 10, you can still go to Three Bridges and have a drink or a nightcap or something and hang out a little bit on the water. It's just beautiful. And so I really, really like Coronado. People give it some grief because it's got buses only. But if you stay in the tower, that bus goes right to the parks, and it's the tower is just beautiful. It's such a cool vibe. I also love Swan and Dolphin. I'll be honest with you, because as a pass holder, I can get some really great rates. There's a promo code for pass holders, and there are times when I can get the Dolphin for cheaper than Pop Century, and for the location.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's between. You could walk to Epcot, you could walk to Hollywood. You got the boats, you got the Skyliner, you got the boardwalk, the beach club, the yacht club for dining. The Swan and Dolphin itself has some great dining. Rosa Mexicana is a great addition to the restaurants at Walt Disney World. So I stay there a lot too.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, I got like 3 of them. I got, I know, it's like trying to pick your favorite child. Polly for sure, and Animal Kingdom and Pop. And Pop is kind of where we started when our journey began in Disney. That's where we'd stay a lot. And now that the refurb is there, it's just really cool. And the Skyliner, it's just, now, well, it's not so much a value anymore. It's more of a moderate, if you will. But yeah, those 3, I think for me, yeah, that's kind of a toss up between all those 3. Yeah.
Pop Century all day. Lori will tell you that's my favorite place.
Is that right? Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
That's where we always stay. Like we stayed there once, and that sold it. Like, and anytime I want to stay somewhere cheap, like Pop Century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I want. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. It's after the refurb. I mean, the refurb only helped everything, and the Skyliner.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Well, now they just redid the entire food court. They're redoing the why am I drawing a blank? Shopping area. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're just constantly making refurbs on that resort.
Yeah. I've seen you talk, or I've heard you talk a lot, Tony Ann, about Saratoga Springs.
I've been there a lot this year. I've been at Saratoga Springs a lot this year because I've stayed with friends for a few trips in 2024. And I like the location of Saratoga Springs by being by Disney Springs. I don't feel like I get enough Disney Springs in my trips, and being at Saratoga kind of forces you to do that.
Yeah. We're going in February for Olivia's cheer trip, and we won't get a lot of park time because we don't know like the competitions when she competes. So we do spend a good bit of time in Disney Springs. So that's why we booked Saratoga Springs. So it'll be my first time checking that one out, since it'll be right there. When my husband and I went in October, and we took the boat over from Port Orleans to Disney Springs, and he saw Saratoga Springs. He's like, why don't we stay there next time? I'm like, sure, I'll book it.
We'll see if
it's a deluxe, but I'm booking it. So
yeah. Are you staying standard or preferred? Do you know? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I think it might be standard, but I was able to request is it Grand Station?
Grandstand. That's where. Yeah,
Grandstand.
Staying standard. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
The carriage house and the boats to Disney Springs.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Cool.
Fun stuff. All right, you're up, Fred.
My turn. All right. Well, let's talk about Disney food. Or where are we going off of this? Are we going like?
Now, this was your question.
Was it?
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me. Favorite table service and favorite quick service.
Dave, you want me to take it or you got it?
Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
For me, my favorite table service, well, my favorite signature table service would be Citrico's. I love Citrico's, and I don't feel it gets the love that it deserves. I also love Morimoto, and I love the duck at Morimoto. My favorite quick service, that one's harder.
There's so
Yeah.
many.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good ones.
I'm not really sure. That's a tough one.
I feel the same way because I'm trying to sit as you're talking. I'm like, gosh, I don't even know if I could really pick a favorite either. Well, actually,
Probably the patisserie in France. I think it's one. I just
Really?
wish there was more
That's
seating in
good.
it. I wish there was more
Yeah,
seating.
there's not much seating at all.
Yeah.
And the line's always so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, it's going to be, I think, Raglan Road. Can I say Raglan Road? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to say Raglan Road. And then for quick, I'm going to say Satuli Canteen in Animal Kingdom.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like-
Raglan Road is good.
Yeah.
It's kind of, there's so many. It's hard to pick just one,
Yeah, we like
It
Yak
really
and
is.
Yeti too.
Yak
in
and
Animal
Yeti's good.
Kingdom.
Yeah, I love Yak and Yeti.
Yes.
So,
Gosh, so when we went in June, my husband got a ribeye from Yak and Yeti, and he
Yeah.
was like, "This is the best ribeye I've ever had." So like
Tori's-
he was. Go ahead.
No, Tori's husband said the same thing. We went to Monsieur Paul the night before, and he had the steak there, and he said the steak at Yak and Yeti was better.
So Josh couldn't wait till we went back in October. He's like, "I want to go back and get that steak." And do you know they took it off the menu?
Oh,
Yeah.
they're famous
But
for
we
doing
did
stuff like
get ribeye fajitas, and it was just as good. It was really good. They and we might have maybe I talked about it with you guys, or at least Fred and I remember saying how, like, I know when people say the food at Disney's terrible, I'm like, you're just not going to the right places.
No.
I mean, if you're getting in the park food, all the time, quick service, and of course you're going to say that it's not good.
Yeah.
Or if you go into some of the, the buffets that are just the same foods over and over. But man, there's so much good food at Disney.
The if people are going to Disney and they're focusing on Magic Kingdom because that's what their first trip, that's what they do, and they're staying in Magic Kingdom because they don't know about the great food at the resorts right next to Magic Kingdom. There's so many good restaurants right, a monorail, a boat, or a walk away if they just leave the park. So
yeah, Magic Kingdom, I think, has my least favorite food.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's made for kids. Like, it's all food that, you go anywhere in Magic Kingdom, your kid's gonna almost guarantee gonna eat everything in that quick service restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have y'all tried? Has anyone tried Skipper Canteen?
Oh yeah, we love Skipper Canteen.
Yeah.
Skipper. Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to try that one, but I have to go when it's just my husband and I, because the kids probably won't.
They have decent apps, and that's what we a lot of times do. We just get apps there. We'll get they have a fried rice dish. They have a Brazilian cheese bread. They have these cachapas, which are like corn cakes with shredded pork on them, that are very popular. Their appetizer game is really good.
Good.
Yeah.
The entrees are hit and miss, but
and that was kind of a late comer for both of us because I think in the last 2 or 3 years we just started going there, but for years we just kind of dismissed it and just didn't go there for some reason, and then we got
it was the alcohol. They started serving alcohol, and we decided let's go there. That's one of our things. We use it as a lounge. We don't go. We don't go. We just want to have a drink. We'll go in. We'll order an appetizer and a drink, and so
smart.
And now it's become one
makes
of those
it sound
things
like
that
we
we'll
drink
do.
a lot, but we don't. We really don't.
Yeah. All right, so I think I might know the answer to this one. But what is your favorite type of Disney trip?
You think you know the answer to this one? Because I didn't know the answer to this one.
Well, I would imagine when you're meeting up with your friends.
No. Truthfully, my favorite type of Disney trip is when I bring somebody who's never come or hasn't been for a very long time, and seeing it through their eyes and showing them everything that I love about Walt Disney World. That is my favorite, is bringing somebody that hasn't been in a long time or has never been and showing them my favorite place in the world. That is my favorite kind of trip. I do have a lot of trips with my friends and family, and I love those too, but I get one of these newcomer trips once every couple of years, and I really enjoy those. Because
See,
those are the trips where I ride the rides again. Because a lot of times when I go with my friends, I hardly ride any rides. I'll be honest with you. There have
Right,
been
y'all
trips
just
where
hanging
we
out,
ride
yeah.
one or two things.
see, if it wasn't for people like you, I would have never gone to Disney.
That's right.
Because Rachel's mom, my wife, that's the whole reason that I ever went to Disney, because she was like, Fred's never been to Disney.
Yeah.
Like, no, she loved taking people for the first time. So
Mhm.
that is what started my Disney obsession.
Yeah, and I'm gonna parrot what Tony Ann just said. I the same thing. Newbies and people that have never been, and we've like she just said, we've taken family members that have been away for years and then taken them back, and then with the knowledge that we have and the opportunities that we know how to navigate the parks,
Mhm.
yeah, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have. And then these are people that almost really didn't have nice things to say about Disney.
My
It's too
husband,
expensive.
for example, who just went to Toy Story Land and and Galaxy's Edge for the first time this year.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, he went on Slinky Dog for the first time, and it was funny. It was really funny.
I loved listening to the episode when y'all got him on, or I think it was the one where maybe Dave tried to
Yeah, he tricked him. He
tricked
called
him into it.
Yeah.
But it was great. And was it, was it a chicken or something when you had to keep like
the turkey.
beeping at
That's
it?
the turkey of truth.
The turkey.
That's what Dave does when
the turkey
when
of truth kept coming in because he
Yes.
he had a potty mouth that night. So,
Yeah.
It was great though.
yeah, but that's it. Taking somebody new or fresh that hasn't been in a long time. So that's the best.
Yeah. I remember when we took my in-laws, they had never been. And so a few years ago, Josh and I had a trip planned and I'm like, you know what, let's take your parents with us. And so we brought them with us. Cause I remember the first time we went to Disney and when we walked into Main Street, Josh called his mom on FaceTime and was like showing her the castle. And I remember him getting emotional because they weren't ever able to go. And so that next time when we took her, she still talks about it. She still wants to go. And so it's definitely awesome when someone gets to experience it, like you said, for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a crazy story. So where we live, our neighbor's been there for probably, I don't know, Veronica, how long they've been there? They've been there for 6 years, Veronica, maybe. Yeah, maybe 6 years or so. And I know him fairly well. He's been our neighbor for a long time, but we moved away, and we come back every now and then. And we went over to visit him during Halloween, and he's like, "Come here, I want to show you something." He was talking about going to Disney. I'm like, "You went to Disney?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me come in." He took us in his house, and he's got a whole room just full of Disney stuff and what's the Legos, and I mean the big ones, the huge ones. And he's been my next door neighbor forever, and I never knew it. I'm like,
Never knew.
I never knew. I just talked to him today, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? I'll be in town till tomorrow, and I got to leave." And he's like, "Oh, we just got back from Disney." I'm like, "Oh, man."
That's funny.
Knew it. So
Like,
very cool.
Yeah.
So you never know who your neighbors are. They might be Disney fans. You just don't know it.
Right. It's come out like, because Fred and I think I told you guys, Fred and I met at church. And so since then, I think the Disney people are coming out more and more, and we find that there's a lot of us there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even our pastors started. From time to time, he'll throw those Disney marks in there. And you'll see
And everybody starts looking at us. We're like,
Right.
yeah, we know he's talking about us.
Yeah. They throw those. He says it and immediately looks at me or Lori. I'm like, stop it. Okay, cool. So with it being the holiday season, of course, we got to ask the big question of what's your favorite part about Disney during the holidays?
I enjoy resort touring. I go to all the different resorts. My mom is 91, and most years we go and do that for a couple of days. We go to all the different resorts. There's a couple that people don't realize have decorations. One of them is the Swan. They have the largest chocolate Santa, And a lot of people miss that one. But and Animal Kingdom, the addition of the giraffe and the zebra the last couple of years has been really great. Everybody goes to the Grand Floridian, and I was telling people about that you don't want to stay at the Grand Floridian in December because
Everyone's there.
it's crazy. Everyone's there, and you can't get on the monorail. The line to the monorail goes all the way back to Victoria and Albert and Citricos. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Don't plan on taking the monorail if you're going to the Grand Floridian. And getting an Uber is hard too because the cars at Guard Shack are lined up. I drove past it one time and they were back to the Poly. So just be mindful of that. Yeah. Got to walk out of there or take a boat or a bus.
It wasn't bad. We went a month ago. We went November 14th. I took my buddy. We did a 1-day trip and we parked at the TTC and then took the monorail over to Grand Floridian and looked around. It wasn't bad, but of course, I think that was like day 3 of the gingerbread house being up.
Right. The closer you get to Christmas, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, even then, like there was nowhere to sit. Like all the chairs were taken. Like everybody's hanging out in there.
Right.
So it definitely gets crazy.
Yeah. For me, I think just for me, it's the trees. I mean, that kind of amazes me. I know they probably got down to a science. I'm sure it's quick. I mean, they start in the morning or start late at night and it's up by the morning. But to me, just they're so big and beautiful and just all the ornaments on it and around it. We kind of took some time, Animal Kingdom, there last week to really look at the tree, and we were at Epcot too for a while. And it's just that kind of stuff amazes me. But yeah, just the decorations around this time of year, kind of get you in the spirit. And some of the parks probably need more, right, Tony Ann?
Oh, Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is the worst. They only decorate Main Street.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. But
all the other parks are pretty much decorated throughout, but Magic Kingdom, the flagship park.
Yeah. Once you get out of the hub, it's
it's just we've never understood that. I mean, Animal Kingdom, there's stuff sprinkled all around.
Even in Pandora, there's Christmas decorations.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And then Dino Land, the dinosaur was all lit up. It was great. But yeah.
Oh, Dino
trees.
Land.
I love the trees.
Fred's favorite area.
Dino Land? Yeah.
Least favorite.
What do you want to do with Dino Land? She wants to bulldoze it.
Oh, I want to bulldoze it. Yeah.
Let's go. We'll do it together.
Okay.
We'll take on first thing going is Dinosaur itself.
Oh yeah. Well, Dave's wife was very heartbroken when Primeval World closed. That was her favorite ride.
My daughter too. That was I rode it maybe once, maybe twice. And I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna die on this thing because I don't like heights. And so just the spinning and you feel like you're gonna fall off the track. I couldn't do it. But Olivia loved that ride. Like they would go and just ride it over and over and over. So she was pretty sad when it took it away. She's not a fan of dinosaurs, so she's glad that one's going away.
Yeah, Dave and I usually wait outside when our family rides dinosaur.
Yeah, we're benchers when that happens. We're on the bench waiting.
Yeah, Josh isn't a huge roller coaster fan, but he does like dinosaur, so we'll do that one. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for the things to come in the parks. So. All right, so it looks like we're going to shift on over to the podcast focus now.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Dave's going to take the lead on a lot of these.
Okay, sure. So what inspired you guys to start the Disney Crush?
Well, I guess I'll go, Tony, and if you want to jump in, go ahead,
Okay.
jump in. I would say that week trip that we had, well, let me just go back a little bit. I've been a big podcast listener for years, many years, 15 years ago, when they first started coming out. I listened to talk radio, and then when the podcasting started coming out, I started listening to podcasts, and I just fell in love with podcasts. And the work I was doing, I had a lot of time to listen to podcasts, so I would spend 8 hours a day listening to podcasts. And then after that trip, Tony Ann, I call her, she's the sensei. She's an expert. I know I'm embarrassing her right now, but she's quite the expert at Disney. And I thought, that might be a good to do a podcast. That might be good to do a newbie and a pro kind of thing because I'm kind of new at it and she's been around for a long time and kind of work off each other. And I called her up one day and I said, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" And she said, "Yes." And then that's how it kind of came about. So it was that simple. And we just
That's cool.
The
Yeah.
thing that nobody believes about Dave and I is that we were in the same family for about 20 years. Maybe, yeah, about 20 years. And we talked. I mean, we would see each other at Christmas and Thanksgiving and things, but we weren't like now we talk every day. This is he was my husband's sister's husband, and there wasn't much of a relationship there. We'd see each other on Christmas basically. And so it's just bizarre how like
Got
we're very
transformed over the years.
yeah, we're brother and sister now essentially.
That's
So
cool.
yeah.
yeah, it's been good. So it's brought some good things to the podcasting. I mean, nothing negative, everything good.
Yeah.
So,
That's
so
awesome.
that's how
cool.
how it started. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name for the Disney Crush? Like, where did the Disney Crush come from?
Well, I'm going to say it on your podcast because I really haven't. I've kind of talked about it on our podcast, and I think on other podcasts that we've been on, and we've been asked this question. But there was a hunting show that I used to watch, and it was called The Crush. And I was trying to find a name, and I didn't want to put too much energy in the name, but names can be hard to come by, and I just didn't know what to call it. And I just one day I just said, Disney Crush. Because you can use that. It's kind of a homonym. You can use it. You can use it as a verb. You can use it as a noun. You can say I've got a crush on Disney. I love Disney, or I'm gonna crush them. Not literally crush them.
Or it's crushing me.
Yeah,
My wallet.
Right.
Wallet.
Yeah.
You can bounce off those two things. So that's kind of how it came up. It's that simple. And I called Tony, and Tony Ann's just so easy. Because I thought maybe I'm gonna call her up and tell her and ask her this. How do you like this name? And she would say, well, and I'm like, what do you think of the Disney Crush? And she goes, okay, that's good. And that was it.
Yeah. We had, in hindsight, we probably wouldn't have used the name Disney in our podcast because it came when we started doing some merch and stuff, it became problematic. Disney doesn't like people using the name Disney, but Disney is a name, and I've worked with people with the last name Disney. So I don't really understand. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No, I get it.
Yeah, we kind of struggled a little bit in the beginning trying to come up with a name because originally we thought maybe we would come up with a mashup between, because Fred and I are both travel agents with, something to do with that. And then I used Chat GPT, and I just was like, give me some podcast names for these things. And so this was one of the ones. Initially we were just, what was it?
Beyond the Castle.
Beyond the Castle.
Yeah.
And then we realized after we started, and both of us searched. So I'm like, our searching skills that day must have been off because there was already a podcast. And so we added going in front, which I do like, going beyond the castle, because, we've talked about Universal a little bit, and then hopefully we'll get some cruises and stuff. The one thing I like about yours that I feel like we're lacking is I like how you can call your followers or your friends crushers, or, I'm like,
and he didn't like that. And that was one of his reservations. He didn't like the term crushers.
No, I didn't like it. No, I didn't. Cause we have friends that have podcasts, Geeking on Walt Disney World, and they call themselves the Geeks.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, someone's going to say crushers. And I just did not like it. I was like, it just sounds, I don't know. Just didn't like it. But now it's it's just there. It's grown on me, and I've accepted it. So it's okay.
We'll get there. We'll come up with something.
Yeah. Beyonders.
Beyonders.
You'll find something, right? It's amazing what you come up with when you do the podcast. We, so many things that organically just kind of happened and came up through the podcast, and it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I remember telling you guys that I started listening to your podcast while I'm working out. And so, I was kind of I was caught up to where you were. So I was going back and listening to some of the earlier ones.
Oh, don't do
that.
And
I think I remember you saying, Tony, and don't go back and listen to the first one. So what was it like when you guys created your first podcast, or like, not so much on the bad side if you felt like it was bad, but like, how did it make you feel? You know, like, what is it about the first one that kind of was like, okay, we can do this? Or did you kind of feel like, oh gosh?
I didn't think anybody would listen. I didn't think anybody would. Why would you listen to me and Dave talk about Disney? There's people that have been doing. You know, I listened to the Diz Unplugged back in the day, and Lou Mangello, and so what do we have to say that they haven't already said? But I found in time that everybody has a different spin on things. You know, you listen to podcasts and everybody loves the same restaurants. Everybody loves Homecoming. Everybody you know, and it's like, and I don't love Homecoming. So there's something I could say that nobody else is saying. So just, everybody has their own spin on things. And it's there's no reason, there's room in this world for all of us.
Yeah, one thing I didn't do was check to see how many Disney podcasts were out there. We just jump. Well, not literally jump. And might go into that a little bit later, maybe in one of the other questions. But yeah, I had no idea that there were so many Disney podcasts out there. And I don't know if that would have scared us or scared me away, but we were just kind of naive and just went into it. And then not until maybe years later did we realize, wow, there's a lot of Disney podcasts out there. But like Tony Ann said, everybody's got their own spin on it, and I encourage everybody, if you want to do a Disney podcast, do one. I think it's great. So
yeah, I can tell you, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you guys, but I've tried listening to other podcasts, and I don't know, I just can't get into them. So I mean, I do have one. There's the Disney Nerds. One of the guys local. We live in the same, like 10 minutes from each other, so I'll listen to his. But some of the other, I don't know. I loved you guys. I think it was, your personalities and just listening to you guys talk that kind of drew me in. And so that's how I got sucked into it. So
she must have received that check, Tony, and we sent her.
Or she didn't listen to the last podcast or the last two podcasts.
No, wait, I'll save them now until I go to the gym.
Lately. Dave's been cranky lately.
Everybody says I've been cranky lately. I don't know. I don't think it's cranky. I think I just,
Well, I'll let you know because I'll be at the gym in the morning. I'm going to listen. So I'll let you know what I think.
Okay. Oh, just get ready. I guess I was a little cranky. I don't know.
Gotcha.
We all have our moments. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question is, what is your favorite type of episode?
I like having guests on, and we do a segment where we haven't done one in a while, where we have a lot of guests. We have 5 guests on at the same time. I love those episodes. Dave, those are the bane of his existence because he does the editing. So, but I like hearing from other people and getting their take on things and learning about their experiences, and maybe that'll influence me to try something new or see something I haven't seen before. So I really like those episodes, and I think people enjoy hearing different voices. Like if they listen to me and Dave talk every week, it probably gets boring. So that's how I feel. But he's got to edit it. So
Yeah,
I think that was the first time I joined was the 515.
Yeah. Dave,
what are you gonna say, Fred?
I was just saying, I know the pain of editing. Yeah, I know.
I don't. I said I'm the podcast princess.
that's us. We're the podcast.
Yep.
So yes, Fred does all of the technical stuff. I'll do the groundwork, like as far as looking up, like some info and sending notes and stuff. But he does the harder stuff.
Lori funds our podcast and plans it all. I just make it look pretty.
Good.
Well, I tell him I feel like I need to contribute. I was like, so I'll pay the fee and then you do the work. And then at least I'll feel like it's a little bit even.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, look, well, maybe some of your other questions we'll talk about it, but editing can take some time. In fact, I wanted Tony Ann to feel sorry for me. So I texted her the other day and I knew I was traveling. So I had done our last episode, and then I decided while I'm at it, I'm going to throw a quick Patreon in there. So I spent right at 9 hours editing. One podcast and then down, getting it all my hosting and all that, the whole.
Yeah.
So it took me about 9 hours. Yeah, people don't realize it. It does take some time, Fred.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, it's all good.
Yep. Did we get your favorite type of episode?
Oh, yeah, my favorite type of episode. Well, see, unlike Tony Ann, who likes to bring 5 people on the show and drive me crazy, which I do love it. I love having guests on. I like, now I don't want to spoil it, but a lot of times, coming up with topics sometimes can be sometimes difficult. So okay, for instance, Tony Ann calls me the other day and says, "You're not going to believe what happened." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what happened?" "Well, I can't tell you. We have to save it for the show."
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
no.
we don't record until on Thursdays. Well, now I've got to
Right.
wait 5 or 6 days. But this is typical with us. And that's why when we talk during the day, we'll start talking, but I'll say something and she stop talking. Stop. Don't say it for the show. And that's why I think it's fresh. A lot of times when we come
It's
on
much
and
more
we
natural.
yeah, it's just natural. So my answer to that question is I like it when we just don't have a topic and I think it drives her crazy because she's like, "Well, what are we going to talk about?" And I said, "You know what, Tony Ann, let's just get on and we'll just start talking." And then, and all of a sudden we do. And then an hour later, I'm like, "See there's a show. There you go." And it was pretty good.
And there are times when I listen the following week and I'm like, I can't believe you made a show out of that gibberish that we talked about
I
for 2 hours. That you
Yeah,
made a show out of that.
she'll text me and she'll say, "Good luck editing that one."
That's
And he
funny.
does it. He's really good at what he does. And I tell people that they don't realize, but I know what the raw footage sounds like. So
Hey, chaos and the beauty.
So yeah, just
Yep.
open on and talking. I think I just love that part of it because we always come up with something, and before you know it, it's an hour and we're into it.
Yeah. So I guess we kind of answered the next question maybe about what the biggest challenge of running a Disney Crush is.
Tony Ann, you have any?
well, I didn't take it the way you said it just now. When you asked what the
Okay.
biggest challenge was, for us the biggest challenge was 2020. COVID, when the parks closed, we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know if we should keep doing the podcast. We didn't know how we were going to come up with a topic every week for however long the parks were
Right.
going
For
to be
how
closed.
long?
And
Yeah.
originally they said 2 weeks. Remember, they said 2 weeks. And we could do 2 weeks, and then it went to be 2 months and 3 months. Right. So somehow we wound up doing 2 shows a week during COVID because we were doing live streams every Tuesday night, and we made it work. And
Oh,
I
wow.
think that all speaks to our community, and our community really came together during COVID. That actually, I would not have ever believed it, but we got closer to our friends during COVID being isolated than we ever had been before, because we were just communicating online all the time. So
Yeah, and when she says friends, she means listeners, and because a lot of the listeners became friends of ours, like Lori.
Mhm.
I mean, we just met
Mhm.
people, and before you know it, we were meeting them in the parks to
yeah.
enjoy the parks together. And it's that time really brought us all together, I think, and solidified a very tight knit kind of group, which
Mhm.
is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
So, Dave, what's your challenge? Because I took that question totally different than probably
No,
anybody
I think
else
that
would
was absolutely
Yeah,
right.
No,
And
that
I
was
think
awesome.
notes,
Yeah.
my notes says the same thing, Tony, and I put COVID down. Yeah, and the meetups, the COVID and the meetups.
And
The biggest challenge. I don't know. It's just
when we both forget to hit record.
that's a whole podcasting. That's another thing, right?
That's the challenge. And it goes back to that whole thing about us saying, no, don't tell me, let's keep the conversation fresh. Because if you do forget to hit record and you got to go back and do it all over again, it's never as good as the first time,
Mhm.
because the natural conversation flow is gone, and
Mhm.
you're waiting for the
Yeah.
person to say the thing they said before, or they forget
So
to
you
say
can say.
something that was really a good point. And
Yeah.
it's never the same.
Yeah, I hope it never happens to you guys. I really, really do. But
No, I think
one episode that we recorded like 3 times, and it was
we had to.
every time.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't even remember what happened, but yeah, we had to like redo it. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
here's the third time.
Mhm.
Or the last time, this is what we said.
And
We
our
forget
fail
some
safe
stuff.
is for each of us to do it, to record on each end. And there have been times where we've both forgotten. It's
Yeah, there's been a couple times. One of us usually remembers, and so we cover ourselves. But yeah, there has been times.
And we have notes that say, "Don't forget to hit record,"
Yeah,
and
He'll do it.
we look right at the note. And
Yeah, I remember
this
when
is bad
when we were
first.
first starting, Dave's like, "Don't forget to hit record."
Yeah. I have it on my equipment, and I still forget sometimes. That's crazy. And
it's
you're right.
always
It's
when
never.
it's always when we have guests.
Yeah, we've done
A
that.
lot of times it's when we
We've
have
had to
guests.
record. We've had to record a whole show over again,
Oh,
which
Funny.
is painful.
no, thank you.
Does happen. Well, that's what happens. We get to talking, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, we forgot to put record.
An hour later, crap. Forget to hit record. Okay, so talked about the most challenging. Let's flip it around. What's been the most rewarding part of sharing your journey on the Disney Crush?
Just the friendships that we've built. We've built some incredible friendships with people who are like-minded Disney adults. We've also their kids are wonderful. We just have a happy family, and it's really been something that I can't, I'm 50. Was almost 50 when I met some of the best friends I've ever had in my whole life. So that I never would have thought that, but
yeah, we weren't expecting that. Right. That was something that caught us by surprise, was the community, the listeners. And that's, I have the same thing on my notes, is the community. Just the people, the listeners have become such an integral part of our podcast that we feel like I always say it's a journey. We're on a journey, and we want to bring the listeners on that journey with us. And they can see the progression if you want. We don't encourage it. Please don't. But if you want to go back to episodes 1 through, I'd say probably 1 through 20, you might want to skip. But
the sound quality.
We've had listeners and friends of ours say, no, you don't understand. We loved it then, even though it was not so good and couldn't hear Dave a lot. But things over the time have gotten better, and technology has gotten better, more equipment. And so they've kind of been on this journey with us, and that's what's really cool, is that we've the community, for sure. Yeah, just the community. We're surrounded by such some amazing people and friends now that it just boggles my mind that these people that we know now and see so frequently weren't in our lives 8 years ago.
Right.
And like Lori, we didn't know any of you guys, and now we do, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
And it's a really great podcast community, not just our podcast, Geeking on Walt Disney World podcast, the Mickey File podcast, the Monorail Tales, the My DVC Points community. We're all kind of like sisters, cousins of each other, and so there's no sense. You would think like people would feel competitive, but there's really none of that. It's just because there's plenty to say about Disney that we're not cutting into each other's shtick.
Yeah.
We all have our own little spin.
We all have our own opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like our friend Kevin, he started a podcast.
Kevin, oh my God, I forgot Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin has in the UK has podcasts too. He's got about 4.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he does 4 podcasts.
He's sleeping right now. He won't hear that I forgot.
There you go. We'll edit this out of the actual one.
There you go. So keeping in line with that, are there any moments or any specific things that you have felt the impact of your podcast on your audience?
Well, there have been in our group, there have been births and deaths. One of our friends and listeners we were doing a live stream one night, and our friend Daniel was on the live stream talking, because when we were doing live streams, our listeners would chat with us. They would have their comments, and he was on chatting with us, and when we signed off, and 10 minutes later I got a text that Daniel's house was hit by a tornado, and I'm like, what are you talking about? We were just talking to him 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. And the community came together. The community wrapped their arms around him and his wife Norma, and they've been now that since several years removed now, they've rebuilt their house, but that's the kind of community that we have, and I can't believe that we've had people who have family members who passed away, and like I said, we've had a few new babies, and we always seem to come together. So
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's just what I would say too. So, some crazy stuff has happened, and we just rally around each other, and it's very heartwarming, and
yeah.
it's a good thing. It's
On a
good thing.
personal
Yeah.
level, we had a meetup in 2023. We had never had a Disney Crush meetup in Walt Disney World before 2023, and our first group event was a meetup in the Nomad Lounge, and we have these obnoxious orange shirts that a lot of us wear that say Crushers on them, and that whole Nomad Lounge was full of people in these orange shirts, and we had filled the Nomad Lounge with listeners, and that was kind of surreal because why are they
Yeah.
here? Why are they here?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine
that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really
Cool.
mind
Yeah,
blowing. It was really mind blowing.
One of the things that you all did, and I won't say the names just in case, but once I say it, if you want to say,
Mhm.
feel free. I just don't want to say anything just in case. But there was a young boy that's part of your community and was feeling maybe unloved, like he didn't have a lot of friends, and you had got everyone on, and I'm pretty sure you did it for several months. I don't know how much work it took for you to go in and put a calendar together for people to send him things from all over the United States to let him know that he was loved and that he did have friends. And I thought that was really amazing, for you to put that together, for a young kid, because that could have a huge impact on somebody's life.
Yeah.
So I thought that was truly special that y'all did that.
Well, my Michael, he came in before. He's autistic, and he's 25 now, but he acts like a kid, and the community's really wrapped their arms around him too, and he's excited because now Christmas cards have started dribbling in, and
Coming
he
in.
comes in with a grip, and he runs to his room with them. I don't even see them. So if I haven't thanked somebody for a card they send Michael, it's because he doesn't let me see it, because he he runs off with them. But I do see them coming in, and if I can catch him, I'll always thank people. But yeah, he's been blessed
Yeah,
like that too.
Awesome.
Dave, did you answer?
He did, I think.
Yeah,
I
he did.
can't remember.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, cool. This one I'm excited to hear. If you could interview any Disney legend or character, any Disney character for your podcast, who would it be and why?
Are you gonna go first?
Tony Ann's smiling because I'm
Go ahead,
wondering.
Tony, and I know she's smiling. Go for it.
I really want to interview Bob Chapek. I really want to hear his side of the story. You know what? I don't think that man ever had a chance, because Iger never stepped away, really. He was hovering over him, watching everything he did. And whenever anything bad happened, they would blame Chapek, even though some of it was already in the works when Iger was in charge. And Iger was still pulling strings back then. So I really would love to hear Chapek's side of the story, because the man got this big job. He could not be completely incompetent. There's no way he would have gotten that job if he was as big a fool as everybody makes him
Well,
out to
and
be.
you bring up a really great point. Like, he came in and took over this company,
Mhm.
and people just made it seem like he showed up and was like, "We're going to change all of this." Like, that's not how Disney works.
No, it was all in the works already.
Months, but he got, like you said, he got blamed for all of it. Like that would be a good person to have on.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure he has non-disclosures and he can't say what he wants to, but
We'll
Well,
just
Tony
change his voice and make it
Okay.
seem like it's not him.
Ann has a shirt she wears. It says "Thanks, Chapek."
yeah.
I thought you were going to say Josh Tomorrow.
No. He looks like Count
No,
Chocula.
She's got too much of him anyway. She's got posters in her room of him, Mr. Tight Pants. Oh yeah.
I'm sure his
Yeah.
jeans cost more than my car.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was it? What was that big event they had? That he
D23?
Yeah, D23.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had no idea what all these girls were talking about. Then I saw him. I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay, I see it now. Okay, yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Got some tight jeans on. So,
Yeah, but since
uh,
somebody told me he looked like a vampire, I can't unsee it now.
I
And
did.
so
Yeah, Count Chocula. He looks like Count
Count
Chocula. Yeah,
Chocula. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, kind
I
of
can
sort.
see it. I can see it.
You'll see it now. You won't be able to unsee it now, Lord. Okay,
Oh
This is
gosh.
gonna sound a little crazy maybe for me, but I'm gonna say Johnny Depp.
Cool.
Oh,
And
That-
Interesting.
when I interview him, I want him to be Jack Sparrow.
okay.
Cool.
So that he has to be in character for that
Whole
for my
time.
interview with him.
It's gonna be a long
Only because I think he's a great actor, and he's a musician, which I love. He
Mhm.
plays guitar, and I love that. I play guitar, and
So
I
does
just think
Fred.
I think he'd be. Oh, do you? Oh, cool. I just got a new one today. I just got me a new Yamaha today.
There you go.
But I think I think he'd be fun to interview and hear all about pirates and his movies and stuff.
Well, there's rumors he's coming back for another Pirates.
Yeah, I would hope. So. I only can hope.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Fun. Fun. All right, we're winding down. If you could go back to when you first started your podcast, what advice would you give yourself?
Mm.
This is a hard one. I feel like.
Yeah.
Tonya, you thinking? She's thinking? Or you
No,
have one?
I know what mine is. I worry because we're driven by a lot of humor, and because of that, like Josh D'Amaro looking like Count Chocula and his hot pants and all that. There's a lot of inside jokes in our Disney Crush culture, and I worry that all those inside jokes alienate new listeners, that they don't know what we're talking about, or they don't know these people, because we do have a big community. So sometimes we'll shout out to somebody, but I worry that alienates new listeners who don't know these people or don't know what we're talking about. So I think I try to be mindful of that, but sometimes it gets away from us because it's the listener base we do have. They enjoy the humor. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
So many
I
things.
think we could put that back in the bottle.
No, I mean, so many little things have happened, and not us meaning for it to happen. It just kind of
Right.
happens, like the turkey of truth. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. But
Right.
there's so many things that have happened in the podcast itself that we met somebody at a meetup. I think it was at Geekin. It was
It was Bubba
Bubba Mac.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was at a Geekin meet. I think we went to.
Mm-hmm.
He's a friend of ours now, and I think he started listening to our show because he met us, and then we got to talking to him at another time, and he said, and he's a very honest guy, which
Yeah.
I love and I
Mhm.
appreciate. And he said, your shows is kind of hard to follow because there's so many inside jokes, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. And we both went, oh man, and that's what Tony is talking about.
And we
And,
actually had an episode already that we had recorded, our 200th episode, and we explained all the inside jokes. And we told Bubba, go listen to episode 200, and he did, and he said it helped. But now we're on episode 370, so there's 170 more.
Yeah.
So a lot of time has passed, so we might need to revisit
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So now we're just going with it. I mean, we try instead of mentioning, like a lot of times we mention somebody's name that. if
Well,
a
our
new
friend
listener-
Kevin Curtis Allen from the UK, that's another inside joke, because when we first started our podcast, when we would always say, we would mention him, and the episode would go flawless, and then we'd go 1 week and we wouldn't have anything to say about him, and that would be the week that the audio didn't work or we didn't hit record. So it became an inside joke that we always say his name during an episode. But if people don't know that, like,
They're
why are they
"Why
saying
not?"
this man's name?
And for some reason we say it 3 times.
Like
I was
Kevin
going to say, is that why you say
Like
it 3
Beetlejuice.
times? Yes.
See? Yeah, and I don't know why we said it 3 times, but yeah. But it was funny because when he came to the meetup, he stood in front of all those people at the meetup, not our meetup, somebody else's meetup,
It was somebody else's meetup.
and said, "Okay, everybody, what do you say?" And everybody's like, "Kevin Curtis Allen, Kevin Curtis Allen, Kevin Curtis Allen." But somebody new would be like, "Why are they saying that? That's so silly."
Yeah, we're
Gotcha.
silly.
But anyway,
You guys are great.
Did you have
Thank
anything
you.
you regret or would be more mindful of, Dave? Or?
um, I don't know.
You
I
always
think,
say you'd erase our first 20 episodes.
well, I
so nobody
would,
can listen
and
to
I would,
it.
and I would give that advice to any new podcaster out there. Just record maybe 10 episodes
Delete them.
and delete. Just delete them. I know it's going to be hard. I know it'll be hard, but just delete them and then start again. And you can still use the same material,
Same topics,
know,
yeah.
the same topics and same material in there, but yeah, just delete them, and then start fresh. That's one thing I wish
Start
we
over.
had done, but I'm embracing it. It is what it is, and there's a learning curve to everything in life, and that was our learning curve, and it's funny because a lot of listeners say, no, it's all good. I enjoyed all those old ones. It's kind of, and to see where you were then and now, it's a big difference, and so maybe that, but yeah, no. The only thing I do regret,
Right.
if there's a regret in there, is that when I first started the podcast, or when we first started the podcast, and I asked Tony Ann if she wanted to do it, I'm not very techie at all. My wife is very good on the computer, and my son is really, really good. And so I have to give them props for helping get this thing going, because I got scared, and it took me a long time, like almost 6 or 7 months. And I bet
Yeah.
Tony Ann was like, "Is he going to ever start?"
I
this
think
thing?"
I would think it was a full year, because you asked me at Christmas and we started recording the next Christmas, or if not
Yeah.
2 Christmases later. I don't know.
Yeah, I just froze. I couldn't do it, so I gave up on it, and then I finally just said, just get in, and I just immersed myself in it and figured it out. And now that was 9 years ago, whatever it was when that happened. And now things are a little different. They're a little easier with the technology. Things have changed a little bit, but back then it was a little different. But I had so much help with my wife and my son. I have to give them props. My son does the intro and outro music, and he did that music when he was 15,
Mhm.
and we
Wow.
still use it, today.
That's cool.
And and another thing, and since we're on this and we're talking about podcasting stuff, Tony Ann's always talking about how my editing is and all that kind of stuff, but people don't realize everything that Tony Ann does. And not only for our podcast, but for other podcasts that we know, she's such a great help, and she does so much behind the scenes, like um, just everything with the community. And yeah, I'm so lucky that we're doing this together, because I couldn't do it without her. So this is, she does so much. She really does. Yeah, doesn't get the credit for it, but she does it. So
That's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are a great team.
well, thank you.
All right. Before we wrap it up, any last words before we finish up?
No, just good luck to you guys. When we're really excited that you guys started this, and if you need anything, let us know. If you have any questions or anything, we're here. And yeah, because we had people help us. We didn't do it alone, so we're always pretty supportive and mindful of that with new podcasts.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's like this in other genres of podcasting, but in the Disney groups, the other podcasters that we know, I'm sure there's some out there, but
Yeah, they're all
there's
very
no
welcoming.
ego, and we've had so many people step up and help us along the way. Or if they hear something, they'll get in touch with us and say, "Hey, I could hear your audio. You might want to check out this or do that."
Yeah.
Or if I have a question, I'll call them, and this has been so supportive. The podcast community, the Disney podcast community that we've been around, just no ego at all, and just even when we first started, people they were asking us to come on their shows, and they're like, "Why are you asking us to come on your show? We're just starting." But yeah, that just a great community. So
Yeah.
of podcasters. So anyway,
Well, I having met you guys all of 1 hour and 4 minutes ago, it's already been super cool. So I don't think Lori or veto it, but I would love to have you guys back on, and dive into some actual Disney stuff together.
Okay.
yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good. Hey, maybe we'll have you guys
Absolutely.
on and
There we
fire
go.
Yeah.
up people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Tony will be happy.
And Dave
Speaking
can
of that,
edit it.
Yeah, right.
no,
you can edit it all. Have fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm super excited for you guys, honestly, and thank you for having us on. And it's so excited for you guys. I always say,
Thank you.
Everybody should start a podcast. I think
Yeah.
it's great. So
And it's so funny because I don't know why, but I was like, and it did work out too. I was like, I'm going to get them on our 10th episode. I don't know why. It was like, we like kind of leading up, and we'll have like 10's like double digit.
uh-huh.
So it did work out perfectly. And I know I had messaged you a couple of days ago, feeling a little not insecure, but because you don't know when you're stepping into something new something that someone else is already doing,
Mhm.
if it's going to be awkward or hard feeling. So that was just me making it weird. But I appreciate you guys embracing us, and I still y'all are still my faves. I love y'all and really love what y'all do, and I love your community. So I hope that we'll be one day included in the round of friendship podcasts, and maybe get to do some
Absolutely.
meetups with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely collab some more, do some more stuff together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. This has been great. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if our listeners want to add you to their list of podcasts, where can they go to hear the Disney Crush?
Well, we have, you can get a hold of us at thedisneycrush.com. We're on Instagram at _Disney Crush. The Disney Crush at gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us or ask a question. We have a private Facebook group called Friends of the Disney Crush. We have a main page, and these are all most of the stuff Tony Ann takes care of. So that's another thing she does. She does so much work on these platforms. The Disney Crush and on
Yeah,
YouTube.
anywhere you listen to podcasts too, and
Yeah.
you've been uploading to YouTube now too. Just the
Yeah,
audio. Yeah.
Yeah, we just started doing that. So I mean, I watch YouTube all the time, and if you want to listen to us on YouTube, it's just a static picture there. But if you just want to put us on the background, you can do that on YouTube now. I just put us on there. I don't know, 3 months ago or so.
Yeah, anywhere you listen to
Yeah.
podcast. I do that with Amazon. I just tell Alexa play it, and she plays
There
it.
you go.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, the
Sweet.
Disney Crush. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Lori, can you close it out, or do I need to go run through it?
Man, not if you want me to do that, Beacons.
No, you gotta do it all.
Oh
this is great,
gosh,
Mom. This is
I'm not going to be able to say it because I'm going to have to go and find it. Let's see. So we thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. We love going live now. Hopefully we'll get some interaction in our episodes coming up soon. We will be going live on Sundays now. Actually, I'm super excited for next Sunday. I'm probably hyping it up a lot, so hopefully it's fun. But we're going to do the 12 days of Christmas, and Fred and I are going to go through our 12 favorite things or things that we want. So I've already been making my list. So I'm looking forward to hearing some of Fred's choices.
You should send me what I need to prepare.
No, this is all you, buddy. You got to pick your 12 favorite things. And you got to remember, because on the first day, you only get one of those things. But on the second day of Christmas, you're going to get two of them.
Nobody
Oh,
told me
no.
when I agreed to a podcast that I had homework.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought I could
Yeah.
just
This
go
is-
for
Oh yeah.
free.
No, this is the only one. This is the only one.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you can listen and find us at beacons./
Nope.
No. See, you got to get it.
All right.
So close.
This is
This is why I don't close this out.
If I got to do homework, then you got to do homework. I need you to prepare this for next week because you're close
Got it.
next week.
Got it.
All right. So definitely, again, I'll say it again. David, Tony, it's been a pleasure having you guys. Thank you for coming on. For those that are going beyond the castle fans, please like and share our stuff. The easiest way to find us is our Beacons channel, beacons.ai/going beyond the castle podcast. As always, that's got both mine and Lori's Facebook pages in case you're looking for a travel agent, and it has all of the locations that you can tune in to us every Sunday and on Wednesday when we drop our audio only podcasts. So with that being said, again, it's been fun, and we will talk to you guys next Sunday
Next
when we do the 12 days of Christmas that I'm going to prepare.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
It says stopping, but it takes a minute. There we go. We're done. That was good.
Wonderful.
Okay.